to ABWA's January Just-in-Time webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Whether you're logging in from home or your office or on the go, we are so glad to have you here with us. Tonight's session is designed to keep you informed, inspired, and connected as we move confidently into 2026. So here's what we're going to be covering today. We'll begin with a few welcome announcements and updates from the national office, followed by a member focus segment and highlights that you won't want to miss. We're also excited to welcome our guest speaker later in the program, and we'll wrap up with important reminders, contests, and next steps. At the heart of everything we do is ABWA's mission to bring together businesswomen of diverse occupations and provide opportunities to grow personally and professionally through leadership, education, networking support, and national recognition. This mission continues to guide every decision, program, and initiative across our association. We'd like to begin by recognizing the leadership that supports ABWA at the national level. Please join me in welcoming ABWA's 2025-2026 National President, Barbara Peterson.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us tonight for this Just-in-Time webinar, the first one of this year. As the Board of Directors of the American Businesswomen's Association, we see ourselves as bridge builders, focused on moving ABWA forward while honoring the foundation that brought us here. We are activating the strength of our past and turning it into momentum, building what comes next so ABWA continues to grow, evolve, and thrive for today's members and for future generations. Before we move further, I want to briefly clarify the role of the national officers. The National President, National Vice President, and National Secretary-Treasurer serve as the executive leadership of the association and work closely with the Executive Director and the National Office. At this time, I'd like to introduce our national officers: Dior Davis, member of the Airport Charter Chapter, our National Vice President, and Dr. Tracy G. Jackson, member of the Oxon Hill Charter Chapter, our National Secretary-Treasurer. And I'm Barbara Peterson, member of the Heart of the Piedmont Chapter, and honored to serve as your National President. Together with the full board, the National Board of Directors governs and controls the affairs, policies, and business of the association, while serving as trustees and the selection board for the Stephen Bufton Memorial Education Fund. Our shared responsibility is to protect ABWA's reputation, integrity, and standards, and to serve the greatest possible good of the entire association. Each of our 6 district vice presidents represent their specific geographic district and serves as a vital connection between the national officers and our leagues and members at the local level. They are listeners, advocates, and leaders, supporting leagues, strengthening communication, and ensuring that every member's voice is heard and represented in national conversations. In many ways, our district vice presidents are among our most important bridge builders, connecting national strategy to local impact. With that, it's my honor to introduce my district vice presidents. District 1 Vice President, Dr. Deborah Johnson Blake, member of the Douglas County Charter Chapter. District 2 Vice President, Kathy Eller, member of the Tuya Chapter. District 3 Vice President, Leslie McMillan, member of the Kansas City Express Network. District 4 Vice President, Linda B. Johnson, member of the Limitless Ladies Chapter. District 5 Vice President, Renee Clement, member of the Gem City Chapter. And District 6 Vice President, Karen Fitting, member of the Pathfinder Chapter. Together with the national officers, this team of bridge builders is laying the groundwork for a strong, connected, and sustainable future for the American Businesswomen's Association. Thank you again to my board of directors, our bridge builders, who are committed to honoring ABWA's legacy while intentionally building toward its future. Earlier this month, the National Board of Directors came together for focused, strategic work to define where we are headed. That work was shaped by one clear, shared vision. By 2030, ABWA will be the premier women's organization, represented in every state across the nation, providing best-in-class education, leadership development, and community engagement for its members. To move us towards that vision, the board identified 4 strategic priorities that will guide our decisions, investments, and actions over the next 4 years. These priorities represent the bridges we must intentionally build from where we are today to where we aspire to be. Our 4 strategic priorities are to increase and modernize member engagement, to elevate ABWA's professional development offerings, to build a consistent and compelling brand experience across all our leagues, and to increase membership by 10% year over year. Each of these priorities is interconnected, and together they create a clear roadmap for sustainable growth, relevance, and impact for ABWA well beyond today. Achieving these priorities is not the work of just the national board alone. It will require collaboration across ABWA, including the national office, our ambassadors, and dedicated volunteers throughout the association. With that, I'd like to hand the mic over to this year's Ambassador Steering Committee, Cindy Schmidt.
Thank you, Barbara. So an ambassador is in ABWA is an accomplished female leader who looks out for the other women and helps them get the most out of their membership. And she is a seasoned leader who has served as a past national officer or top 10 businesswoman. Ambassadors use their experience, voice, and influence to elevate others by mentoring, modeling confidence, and asking growth-centered questions that spark self-awareness, problem-solving, and purpose-driven leadership. You will see ambassadors mentoring women who are thinking about running for league, council, district, or national office, introducing speakers, leading officer installations, or facilitating professional development sessions. Every time an ambassador mentors or encourages another woman, she is strengthening ABWA's foundation and helping more women say yes to their own leadership journey. Ambassadors also help spread the word. They support ABWA campaigns and share ambassador initiatives and resources within their chapters and communities, so members learn about opportunities they might have missed. And they are not doing it alone. Ambassadors are plugged into a larger network of leaders across the association. Ambassadors swap ideas, get advice, and cheer each other on so they grow while helping all of ABWA grow. One such resource available to you as an ABWA member is the Ambassador Speakers Bureau. The Ambassador Speakers Bureau offers ABWA chapters and councils access to an incredible roster of talented professionals ready to elevate your meetings, events, and professional development programs. Our skilled ambassadors are available to speak and share their expertise, inspiration, and real-world experience with your members, helping you provide high-value programming without having to search widely for qualified speakers. The Ambassador Speakers Bureau listing is located in the National Resource section of the ABWA member portal under miscellaneous forms, making it easy for chapters and councils to access speaker information for their programs. The Speakers Bureau is refreshed at least once per quarter to ensure members have up-to-date access to current ambassador speaker topics and contact information. Thank you, and back over to you.
Thank you. Cindy, did you want to share the Ambassador Steering Committee reps? Oops.
I would love to. So we have from District 1, we have Linda Hugh Hicks is a representative, and Sonia Lowe is our co-representative. From District 2, Barbara Brock is representative. Elizabeth Gonzalez is the co-representative. Oops, sorry, I just moved my screen around. District 3, we have Janelle Berlin and Kathy Schooley. District 4, Yolanda Johnson and Joyce Wright. District 5, Shirley New and Cheryl Schmant. And District 6, Joanne Osby and Velma Landers.
Thank you, Cindy. Another part the ambassadors play within ABWA is helping our leagues in various facets. One critical component of running a league is having a stream of new members joining. With that, I'm pleased to share details about the ABWA Spring Membership Campaign. If you're new or not familiar about this, the Spring Membership Campaign are concentrated recruitment times that occur twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. ABWA National provides support through theme, materials, and talking points. I'm thrilled to share that not only this year we'll be working on having our new branded materials ready for you to share, but in the spring conference, we'll actually be sharing best practices for recruiting new members, retaining of new members, things of that nature. This year's spring membership campaign will run from March 1 through March 31st. And as stated, updated membership materials are coming soon, along with recruitment tips and tools to help leagues grow with confidence. This is a great opportunity to invite new members and share the value of ABWA. You'll be able to find those materials on YM, and we'll send an email out to the membership when they're available. We'd also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who participated in honoring Renee Street upon her retirement. Through your generosity, we raised over $4,000 for the Renee Street Scholarship through the SBMEF Fund and $3,000 for the Kansas Ballet in Renee's name as well. While we shared the announcement of the scholarships at the National Women's Leadership Conference back in November, we reached out to Renee this past week and provided her the updated totals this week. So thank you for helping us celebrate her legacy in such a meaningful way. Next, I'd like to share some updates and new information around ABWA's Achieve newsletter. The latest issue of Achieve is now available and full of valuable content. You'll find information on ABWA's new branding, links to our new merchandise store, featured articles, photos from your ABW days across the country, highlights from NWLC, best practices recognition, annual meeting minutes, and an Achieve survey. I'm thrilled to share a new addition to Achieve that we hope to continue is sharing information and successes from you, the members. In this issue, we shared photos from various leagues on how they celebrated ABW Day across the country. We want to continue this theme and continue to make sure that we're sharing and highlighting and recognizing our members in every issue. Also, please utilize the QR code on this slide to complete the survey. As you know, ABWA has just unveiled a new brand in November. Well, now we are redesigning the newsletter as well. Besides the look of a new Achieve, we are hopeful to put more emphasis on the areas of importance to you, our members. So be sure to take that survey and share information with us so we can continue to improve. I'm thrilled to say that the first issue of Achieve in 2026 will be out in February and will have a brand new look. There are several important dates coming up, including Coffee Connections on February 18th, early bird registration deadlines for Spring Conference, Women's History Month in March, and key nominations and election deadlines. So be sure to mark your calendars. I will read it out loud, so if you want to jot it down, you're welcome to, or you can take a screenshot. February 18th is our next Coffee Connections. February 26th is the last day to register for early bird pricing for the Spring Conference. March is Women's History Month. March 1st through May 31st will be the Spring Membership Campaign. March 27th to the 28th is the Spring Conference itself. March 30th, and we'll have more information on that coming in this session, actually, so stay tuned for that. March 31st, the leagues elect nominating committees. April 30th is the April Just in Time webinar. And May 1st, the National Board of Directors nominations are due. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to our conference co-leads, Toby and Michelle.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hello, everyone. If you're looking for inspiration, practical skills, and meaningful connections this spring, we're excited to introduce you to the 2026 ABWA Spring Conference, happening March the 27th and 28th. Early bird pricing is available through February the 27th, so register soon to avoid paying full price.
Now for the conference overview. This year's conference will support ABWA members at every stage, whether you're a new member, a leader in your local chapter, league, or express network, or a national member without an individual league affiliation. You can expect a thoughtful mix of interactive speaker sessions, skill-building seminars, and member-led discussions, all centered on a real-world application and shared learning.
Some of our highlights. We're especially excited to announce one of our keynote speakers, Kristen Straggs. Kristen is a former WNBA strength coach with nearly a decade of experience at the pro level. Now, Kristen empowers high performers and teams to reach their full potential with a mission to transform lives both on and off the court. Kristen is dedicated to imparting the elite habits and winning mindsets that have shaped some of the world's top athletes. Her expertise in strength and conditioning, combined with a deep understanding of mental resilience, has inspired countless individuals to elevate their performance and achieve extraordinary success. For our Friday morning keynote, Kristen will present her powerful session entitled Undrafted, in which she shares insights on resilience, confidence, and forging your own path, even when success doesn't come with a clear invitation or roadmap. Her message is especially relevant for women navigating leadership, career transitions, and personal growth. Kristen's message promises to be motivating and relatable to many of us. What a great way to start off the spring conference.
In addition to the keynote, attendees will have access to a variety of targeted sessions, including an interactive presentation exploring practical ways to use AI tools to improve clarity, efficiency, and consistency in your professional communication, and a skills lab to support and strengthen your strategies around having difficult conversations with team members.
One of the central elements of this spring conference is going to be ABWA member-led content. Over the past years, we've heard from a lot of members who want more opportunities to interact and network with fellow members. We've also heard that many leagues are looking for ways to strengthen and grow their groups. We're bringing these two requests together with member-led discussions, panels, and presentations that will be facilitated by member volunteers who have stepped up to share their areas of expertise. Some of the topics we have identified are member recruitment and retention, fundraising, and developing future leaders. Please reach out to Shoshana if there are additional areas you would like to see covered. If you're interested in volunteering to present or participate in a panel, simply fill out the presentation interest form on the ABWA member website. We'll link it in the chat as well.
Okay, so a quick recap. Here's what's to remember. The 2026 ABWA virtual spring conference take place March 27th and 28th. Registration is only $300 through February 27th. And we have an exciting agenda lined up, so you won't want to miss it.
We hope to see you there. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Toby and Michelle. The national team has been working hard to put together a conference that meets the needs of our members. We are looking forward to this event, not only to provide valuable content to members and leagues, but also as a chance for us to all be together. Now I'd like to welcome back Barbara Peterson to highlight our membership highlights.
We have some great anniversaries going on this month. For 30 years, we have June Dishman, Katie Halverson, Patty Ann Hokema, Christina Brennan, Elizabeth Tennant, and Verdi Henderson. Congratulations on 30 years of ABWA membership. And for 40 years, we have Marilyn Ragsdale. And 45 years, we have Rita Teal Ruppel. And 60 years, Beulah Mason, who is a national member out of Bay City, Michigan. Congratulations on all your anniversaries.
That's amazing. Congratulations, Beulah, and all the ladies.
And celebrating league milestones, the Maryland Capital Chapter celebrated 55 years, and the Oklahoma City Charter Chapter is celebrating 75 years. That is almost one of the oldest chapters. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Another exceptional member I'd like to highlight tonight is our 2027 American Businesswoman of the Year, 2026. Wait, yes, right? It's always a year ahead. It throws me off. 2026 National Women's American Businesswoman of the Year, Jay Franco. In November at the National Women's Leadership Conference, Jay was named this year's winner. I am excited to have her with us today to talk to you about the process of becoming a top 10 nominee, as well as what being the American Businesswoman of the Year means. So please welcome Jay Franco.
Hello and good evening, ABWA sisters. Good evening. Being named the American Businesswoman is an honor that I do not take lightly. And tonight I want to be very clear about what that title actually means to me, because it's probably not what people think. It doesn't mean I have it all figured out. It doesn't mean I'm the most accomplished woman in the room. It doesn't mean that I never doubted myself. What it means is that at some point I stopped doubting and discounting myself. And that's what I want to talk with you tonight. So many women in ABWA are doing the work. You're leading teams, you're building businesses, you're showing up for your communities, you're mentoring, you're serving on the boards, you're helping other women rise. And yet, when the top 10 conversation comes up, I hear the same thing over and over again. And believe me, I heard it in my own head. I'm not ready yet. I haven't done enough. Maybe next year, someone else deserves it more. Let me lovingly tell you, those voices are lying to you. The Top 10 program was not created to reward perfection. It was created to recognize progress, service, leadership, and consistency over time. It exists to underscore women's professional accomplishments, their contributions to the community, and their engagement in ABWA. And here's the part that matters most. If you don't document your journey, someone else will define it for you. One of my favorite phrases that I'm pretty sure you heard me say at National Women's Leadership Conference is this: don't discount yourself. Because what feels small to you may be life-changing to someone else. The meeting you showed up when you were tired, the new member you sponsored who didn't think she belonged, the committee work that you've done and volunteer work when no one else raised their hand, the Apex courses that you completed late at night after work, the community service you gave without needing recognition. It all counts. But it only counts if you document it. The judges never meet you. They don't know your heart. They don't know your story unless you tell it. The application is not about bragging. It's about clarity. It's about ownership. It's about saying, this is the work I've done and I'm proud of it. And I want to address something directly. Applying for Top 10 is not taking a spot from another woman. It's honoring the work you've already done. It's giving ABWA the opportunity to elevate your story so it can inspire someone else. When I filled out the application, I didn't suddenly become worthy because I won. I was already worthy because before I ever even filled out the application. The title didn't create the leader, it amplified the leader that was already there. So if you are waiting for permission, this is it. If you're waiting until you feel more confident, confidence follows action, not the other way around. If you're waiting until your service is big enough, believe me, I waited. I waited for such a long time. Let me remind you that ABWA was built on everyday women doing consistent work with heart. Document your journey, every role, every act of service, every step forward. Keep a running list, not for applause, but for accuracy. And then when it comes time to raise your hand, make sure you are the first one to raise that hand and apply for Top 10. Support another woman applying as well, and be part of a culture where we celebrate ambition instead of shrinking it. because ABWA is not about giving women is not about giving women something new. It's about helping women believe in what's already true. Your leadership matters, your service matters, your story matters. Don't discount yourself. Thank you. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Jay. I hope everybody was able to take that to heart and can potentially think of somebody that they can help nominate or they can lift up, or maybe themselves. One of the things I was thinking when Jay was saying that was just no one's going to tell you when it's your turn. You have to jump in, you have to take your turn. And so I'm thrilled to be part of a group where everyone's recognizing that. And I have a bunch of people that always want to raise their hands. So with that, I'm very excited to move on to our personal and professional development. This is a new series that we're bringing to Just in Time. If you haven't figured it out yet, what we like to do is split our time between half recognition and member announcements and kind of the housekeeping, if you will, and then half of building ourselves and dedicating part of our time this evening to improving ourselves. So with that, I have asked Susan Quinn, CEO of Circle S Studios, to join us this evening. This is just a new addition to This is a new addition to Just in Time. But we want to keep this going. We're hoping to have this be a component of every one of our Just in Times moving forward. You might have seen Susan's article in the newest Achieve newsletter. It was called Implementing Guiding Principles in Your Organization. And that's very similar to what Susan is going to speak to this evening. Let me give a quick introduction to Susan, and then I'll let her take over. Susan Quinn is the founder and CEO of Circle S Studio, a strategic branding, marketing, and consulting firm based in Richmond, Virginia. With over 3 decades of leadership experience, she partners with Fortune 500 companies, national organizations, and regional firms to align brand, culture, and client experiences in ways that fuel purposeful growth. Her deep background in financial services and B2B industries has guided the development of differentiated brands and business strategies nationwide. In addition, she's a certified executive coach and the founder of WordQ Coach, where she helps CEOs and emerging leaders clarify vision and expand impact. Susan is the author of Does Your Business Show Up or Stand Out? And host of the podcast Better Experiences by Design, which explores how organizations create growth-ready experiences from the inside out. She currently serves on the board of trustees at Randolph-Macon College, as well as the board of Chesapeake Financial Shares, Community Bankers Bank, and the Richmond Forum. Susan is an elder at First Presbyterian Church and is also an active mentor to MBA students at the University of Richmond. Please help me welcome Susan Quinn. Susan.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening, ladies. How are you tonight? I am so very delighted to be with you. Can everyone see my screen?
Not yet, no.
No. I am seeing the screen.
I'm seeing the screen.
Oh, you are? Oh, you know what? I'm on my PowerPoint. That's why. So sorry.
Okay. So good. Everyone can see the screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me move forward. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that introduction. I was hoping you would read segments of that bio. I didn't think it would be all of it, but I love this topic, and I'm especially excited to be speaking to women. In the professional world, we don't always get this opportunity, but as mentioned, I have recently authored a book, Does Your Business Show Up or Stand Out? And what we're going to zero in on is how that could relate to elevating your professional brand. And I tuned in at the very end, but loved the conversation. I think it's just a continuation. There was powerful words spoken. Thank you so much. You would have thought that we had actually come together before this. So I'm delighted to continue the conversation. As mentioned, I have done it, I think it said 3 decades. I need to update it. I think I'm now at 4 decades, and I've had the incredible opportunity to work literally with hundreds of organizations, but also thousands of leaders and different ways and means that people do their company, whether it's public, private, A lot of it is mid-market, but everyone is seeking ways to strengthen their brand and to sharpen their focus. I'm also a little bit fascinated by this fact. When we come into companies, they think that the brand, or some do, that it's your logo, it's your tagline, perhaps the colors that we may choose from. And yeah, it is a part of it, but it's a small part of what the brand actually means. At a macro level, the brand is the sum of all of the experiences, all of the perceptions, all of the emotions that people associate with our companies, but also with us. And it shapes how we show up, what we stand for ultimately, and that's how we earn trust over time. And I want to go back and highlight a few of those words. The brand is the sum of the experience, the perceptions, and the emotions, which leads me to what got us curious, and this goes back to about 2013. I think it's pretty clear to say we have been in the information age, and I think we would all agree that we are inundated with information. And we found, because we are always wanting to look out, what are the trends coming for our clients? And I was really intrigued by a trend that was talking about the experience. And specifically that by 2020, now remember this is in 2013, that 89% of companies would compete primarily on the basis of the customer experience. And I'm thinking, wow, isn't that interesting? So we typically think that we compete maybe on price. We compete on, do we have the credentials for our team?
Susan, you got muted.
How did I get, I didn't touch a thing. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll chalk it up to the Microsoft meltdown that's going on today.
Oh my
or
gosh, I know
whatever it
exactly.
is.
So I'm not sure where I was, but I'm just keep moving on. Anyway, we got
Fine.
these stats around the fact that the customer experience is going to be taking over every other component of what we think of in terms of how people select us as a client, as a company. And what we ended up doing, and I think when you saw on the screen, we started to call ourselves an experience agency, and where we would typically go in and help people think through the journey of that client experience. We were going deeper, and where we began to spend more time was on their guiding principles. So, how are you showing up, and how can we then make sure that the experience is consistent with that? So, that was 2015. We did this. And interestingly enough, when they said it was going to happen by 2020, guess what else happened in 2020? Oh my goodness. You talk about something taking control of us. Life as we knew it literally changed that day. So instead of being in a fetal position, we took the opportunity. Is there a silver lining to this? Because we had been doing a lot of research of pulling together why were some of our clients standing out? Was it just leadership? Did they just have simply a better team of leaders? And the group of things that we started to pull together, we ended up doing original research on. And I'm going to quickly step through this. And this is the element of what the book is about. Number one, front and center, people and companies that had strong guiding principles It was really standing out to us, those with a purpose. And they use that to optimize the employee experience. That's how they were attracting and maintaining talent that they needed. And then they use those two things to elevate the client experience. We called it the flywheel. But they were also willing, and this gets into more of the mindset of the leaders, absolutely adapted to change, actually looked at it. They didn't want to be the ones disrupted. They viewed their entire world through this ecosystem very holistically. They tracked their data with this unbelievable rich dashboard, and you're thinking, yeah, okay, tell me something I don't already know of what companies would do. Quality was job number one. Their QA/QC programs were off the chart. And we see this often in companies that as you continue to grow, there's more complexity. These companies were so crystal clear to avoid complexity. And then they were always learning and improving all the time. So what we did is we stepped through and we did original research. And we wanted to validate with COVID and everything else, do they still apply? Do you think that these are relevant? And 3 very distinct mindsets came back. These were all mid-level to upper-level leaders in mid-size to upper large companies. A third of them said, yep, we like most of them, and they were satisfied. They didn't think that they needed to do anything differently. A third chose bits and pieces of those and said, we have a few that we like. But the aspiring, almost a third, thought every single one were important, especially the first 3 that were the momentum for them. And with that information, we decided to put it into a book. And I think we'll discuss this later. You have an opportunity to hopefully win. We're going to give away some of those. I'm not going to step through all of these traits. We don't have enough time tonight. But what I am going to step through is what I think they ultimately stand for. At the core, it's about clarity, it's about consistency, it's about the care that we take in terms of how we show up. And that is what a brand is all about. So we're going to jump in, ladies. We're going to set the stage for how those elements also can relate to your personal brand. So let me set that stage a little bit further. We make up approximately half of the workforce, 79 million of us, and I'm so thrilled that we have hundreds here tonight. Let me share another stat with you. Companies with 30% women in leadership see 15% more profit. Now, don't you love that? I mean, yes, we are a powerful force, but these are some stats that I actually don't like. We only fill 10% of CEO roles, not the number that we want, and only 29% of the C-suite positions. So why is that? So let's get back to our brand. It's more than the lipstick that we wear. It's more than the clothes that we choose. It's not what's on the surface. It's how we show up and how we lead. So I'm going to go into 3 things that we're going to talk about tonight, and you will stand out. And Jay, am I pronouncing your name right? I just see a J in front of you. She said all of these, so we are definitely in concert. Number 1, you've got to define that core that we talked about. What do you stand for? Number 2, if you want to show up with impact, ladies, we need to be able to fine-tune how we communicate. And number 3, how do we share it? As she was saying, you can't keep it to yourself. You have to document it. You have to engage. You have to amplify. So you're going to hear the same message, I think, and I will step through it with you. All right, define your core. It's the first chapter of the book. And I truly believe, if you know what a flywheel is, when you do this with intention, and I will step through the other things, it will be absolutely the momentum that will enable you to show up with power and stand out. I'm always asked, particularly with younger ladies, don't often hear men say, What was your lucky break? What did you do that gave you the luck? The only thing I can say is with clear intention and a whole lot of hard work, opportunity has a funny, funny way of showing up. And I use that four-leaf clover as a way to show the guiding principles because that is the power of every single company that we work for, every single company that is doing better than others. And it's as simple as this: your purpose, why do you exist? Your vision, where do you aim to achieve that purpose? Of course, the mission is how you do it, and the core values. These are the non-negotiables. How are you going to show up for others at work, in your community, any and everywhere you go? And I think also the way that we can all do this better is that we learn from one another, like tonight, and that we share stories of what we see others doing. And in the book, I tell a story about a client. But tonight, I want to tell a story because sometimes big ideas, they come in the most ordinary places. So here's a group of ladies. Does anyone recognize this lady? Elizabeth is saying yes. This is Sarah Blakely, and she is the founder of Spanx. And ladies, I think she started out like many of us. I can certainly relate. After graduating from Florida State in 1993, a few years ago, she had a degree in communications and she wanted to follow her father and go to law school and hang out with him. She took the LSATs twice, and guess what? She didn't score high enough to get into law school. Her first disappointment. So she decided her first job would be at Disney World. And yes, she was a chipmunk. In the Florida heat, it didn't take her long to say, don't know about that one. Maybe I need a more professional career. And so she then, for 7 years, sold fax machines. Wasn't necessarily a glamorous job, but it did give her something pretty incredible. It taught her the power of resilience in the face of constant rejection. Seriously, cold calling, knocking on doors in the Florida heat. So let's go back to the Florida heat, back to the 90s. And I guess we're getting to the late 90s. Some of you may be too young to know this. I certainly remember it. In the 90s, ladies, we wore hose everywhere. You wouldn't be seen without it. And that Florida heat was a little bit frustrating to her. And out of frustration one night, she took her scissors and she cut her pantyhose so that you would not see what was happening up here, but she got rid of those ugly reinforced toes. And the next day, she put on sandals and away she went. But when she did that, an idea was sparked. Oh my gosh, what if I could give women that slimming effect? I mean, who doesn't like all that with the control top pantyhose, but lose that bottom part? With $5,000 in savings, zero background in fashion or business, she started experimenting. She went to every hosiery manufacturer in North Carolina. Every single person told her no. And she was getting to the end of the people to talk to until one called her back. The owner's daughter had overheard her pitch, and she went home and said, "Dad, I think she's onto something." So let me just pause there. Isn't it powerful? The voice of other women, the daughter in this that saw the value. It's a reminder that when we notice brilliance, when we notice a good idea, we can change the trajectory of someone's future. So what did she do? She wrote her own patent. She trademarked at Spanx, and she hustled her way into all the department stores. A lot of no's once again until Neiman Marcus said, "I like what you're doing." And they literally on the spot signed it. But her big break came when Oprah said, "Spanx are one of my favorite things." Sales skyrocketed. And in 2012, Basically, 10 years later, she was on the cover of Forbes magazine as the youngest female self-made billionaire. Now, I love that story. And what I love about it is that I think, even though it may not have been written down, and I wish I could have helped her with this, I bet you she did have a purpose. Maybe it was to make women's lives easier, more confident. I bet you she did have a vision. She wanted to transform an industry on the fashion side, and she did it with a whole lot of bold actions, and that she was never going to give up. And I bet her core values, she had a whole lot of humor, she had grit. And when I read about her today, she's got a whole lot of generosity. The question I have for you tonight, how do you elevate your brand? How do you stand out with the same clarity and the same confidence? So run down these questions. What impact do you want your work to have on people? And where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Because these may change. Don't just write them down once. And what are the disciplines in the daily practice that will help you get there? And what behaviors do you want to be known for, no matter what? That's your flywheel, ladies. And it will help you show up and stand out, not only at work with your customers, but everywhere you go. Number 2, you need to show up with impact. I'm going to put my consulting, coaching hat on here. If I were to summarize what I see as the biggest obstacle for growth, for standing out, whether it's a company, whether it's the leaders, honestly, for every single human being, it's this one word: communication. And I love this quote by George Bernard Shaw. We see it all the time. The single biggest problem in communication, we all think we're doing it, but it's the illusion that it has taken place. And one of the words I use over and over, or phrases, is, do you hear what I hear? I'm going to give a little bit of a story here, because I think a lot of times what we think we're saying and what we think others are hearing are not always the same, especially when it comes to men and women. Let me share something that was a report, and I found it fascinating. It goes back to 2018, not that long ago. Harvard Business did this fascinating study, 4,000 participants, and it was a large-scale military database of employee reviews. So it's pretty fascinating. A lot of men are the bosses here. And what you're going to see are how men are described in their performance reviews and how women are described. Are you ready? These are the words for men. Nice, beautiful lists. They're dependable, logical, practical. Our list is a little bit shorter, but we are energetic and we are organized. So then you get to the words that are most often used for men when it comes to where they can improve. A little too arrogant, maybe a little irresponsible. And here's the list for us. Ooh, wow, I don't like this list. And I don't like it at all. And as I reflected on it, I thought, what do we do differently? Well, number one, you have to know your strengths and your differentiators, for sure. But I think that brand voice is something that we have to work on intentionally. And the presence of how we show up, the energy that we bring, if you could focus on anything, let's do that. Let's focus on these. Every single one of you, and I believe this to my core, you have a superpower. Don't dismiss it. Go ahead, name it, and claim it. Here's a list of some. I know that there are many. I've seen some incredible storytellers in my life. I've seen incredible mentors. Fill in the blank. Where are you? I go back. You name it and you claim it. And then when it comes to your voice, I can be pretty direct. I try to be collaborative. I am not funny. I cannot pull that off on any stage anywhere. So just own it. What style do you want? And do not be afraid to have your voice known. I'm sharing a picture here of an empty chair because I want to reinforce to you leadership is a mindset. It's not just a title. And this empty chair reminds me that leadership isn't about waiting for an invitation, ladies. It's about claiming your place. It's about pulling that chair up and inviting others to sit beside you. Which brings me to a story, because I think sometimes what we often don't see is that we unintentionally don't have the power that we want, and it's without realizing it. So I'm going to share a little video. Here we go.
I'm sorry you have to touch my face. Look at this breakout. I look disgusting. I'm sorry, but I am not a pretty woman. No, thank you, but no, I look like crap. The doctor says that I have to lose weight. So sorry, this is what you gotta work with. I look in the mirror and all I see is a tired mom. And I see these wrinkles and I feel old and ugly. And this is what I hear every single solitary day of my life. I am a makeup artist, and these are real words from real women. I'm also an actress, but for my past 7 years of doing makeup, I have discovered within the first 3 seconds of sitting in my chair, almost every single woman apologizes to me for the way she looks.
Wow. I never thought about how many times I said the word sorry until I saw this play in my chair. I can tell you that I no longer say that word unless I have something that I'm truly sorry for. And if there's one thing that you take away tonight, be mindful of that word. And I have become an advocate, as I am with other ladies, to tell a wonderful story about this. And together, let's get rid of that word. I do not think that's how we show up strong. So as we look at getting stronger, go back to your words. Are they signaling your leadership and confidence, or a little bit of hesitation and doubt? How often do you say sorry? And do you use filler words? Your title will not save you if every other word is so, right. Do they soften your message? Are they diluting your message? And I can tell you absolutely, positively, this is an area that we do not focus on enough. And then your presence, the energy. We don't want to be too energetic, but is that energy calm? Is it confident, or is it uncertain? And do you want those words and actions to reflect the leader that you are? And if so, what does that stand for? All right, we're getting to the end here. So once you have those two powerful things really working for you, go out, engage, and amplify. In your company, once again, don't wait for that chair to be placed in front of you. Multiply your impact, share your wins, build trust, build credibility. If there's a newsletter, write an article. If there's a town hall meeting, get involved with it. Don't just do great work. Make sure people see it. And then as we get beyond that, I think about the redwood trees. They're the tallest and strongest trees on planet Earth. And it's not because they have deep roots. Their roots are actually pretty shallow, but they're wide and they're intertwining. That creates this unbelievably resilient network. And Jay was talking about this earlier. The vast majority of you, I bet, know your role at work. But the question is, do you know the power when you leverage the growth and the innovation and the partnership with others. That's where I would love for you to focus. For your industry, get out there, share your voice, get on a conference stage, be in a panel discussion, show up at a webinar, contribute articles. In fact, that's where you all found me. Writing articles ended up with you all because when your ideas are in print, your credibility grows and you go from being respected at your company. That's where you start to get respected in your industry. And oh, don't forget about the community, your backyard. It's part of your leadership story for sure. If you want to serve on a board, there are a lot of people out there that can help you get there. Lend your skills where you care, and you care a lot. Support local events, volunteer, widen that network of influence, because when you invest in your community, I promise you this, your community invests back in you. And then we've got the digital space today. The brand is the front door. We can be out there, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you may be. But make sure that you keep your look, you keep your tone, you keep your professional presence consistent so that when you're online, they know it's you. And I'm going to conclude here with one more thing. It's trait number 9, and it may be my favorite in the book. The companies and the people that stand out the most are the ones that never stop asking questions. They never stop seeking knowledge. They never, ever, ever stop improving. Ladies, when we champion one another, together we are an unstoppable force. And I think we all probably know the famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." I'm going to offer another quote. Be the change you wish to see and how the world sees you. I hope that we can stay in touch. I have loved sharing bits of my career, what I have seen that works and where I would never want to go again, and to spread that wisdom. I hope we will continue to stay in touch. And Elizabeth did mention it. We are in season 3 of our monthly podcast. I am thoroughly enjoying it. I am loving every minute of it. This year we have 6 CEOs. We have an awful lot of subject matter experts that are just sharing ways to make our brand stronger, our culture stronger, and just more meaningful relationships. So with that, I will say good night to everyone. And I think, Elizabeth, my time has come to an end.
Yes. Thank you so much, Susan. This was wonderful. Very fitting for today. I know I'm not sure if you've been seeing the chat because you've been steering your PowerPoint, but we had amazing feedback. We had so many members say thank you. I do want to keep you here just for one more moment, Susan, because we did talk about sharing your book. So let me share. I have the QR code and I have it ready. So let me go ahead and take controls back over and get this back into the slideshow. Oops, not from start. Okay. Continue to share. Sorry, let's slide over to that real quick. Come on now. There we go. All right, there is the QR. Susan, we had some people asking, so while we take a minute to let people take pictures of the QR code, can you share the name of your book again real quick, please?
Yes, does your business show up or stand out? And it is, I like executive summaries, ladies. I just give me the cliff notes and I can go from there. It's a quick read. I bet you an hour and a half. And it's set up in 3 sections, the what, the so what, and the now what. And so it will give you nuggets of information about each real life stories of why we think it matters. And then I've got a whole bunch of other resources, books, podcasts that I have found along the way. And just we will continue to learn and grow together. But it is how better experiences by design spur growth, which has then led to the podcast. And I found out that most podcasts end after 3 episodes. So we we have gotten beyond that. And I do think season 3, people realize that we're legit and we are. And if you all have suggestions of who might be guests, please stay in touch with me. I'm curious to hear from other leaders.
That's amazing. Thank you, Susan. So just a reminder, if you click the if you view the QR code with your camera on your phone, it will bring you to a page where you can submit your information, and Susan and her team will be giving out 10 free copies of the book. So you can take your chances on a free one, or of course you can go online and purchase it. I believe I saw it on Amazon the other day, Susan, so we can get it there. So thank you so much. We'll let Susan go as we finish the rest. We have just a couple more slides to wrap up, but thank you again, Susan, for joining us, and hopefully we hear more from you soon.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Good night.
Thanks. We are slightly over time, so I'm going to try and run through this because your guys' time is very important, and I want to make sure that we respect what we said we were going to do today. So if you're looking for more ways to improve your professional knowledge, Apex Campus has the following complimentary courses available this quarter. So the ones that I'm mentioning are available through different times through the coming quarter. We have Managing Agile Kanban from February 2nd to the 27th. It's managing a workflow using Agile Kanban, involves creating a system of feedback loops to back performance, identify risks, and solve problems. Learn how the 7 meetings known as the Kanban cadences build connections from the daily to the strategic and from planning to delivery, while involving all people at all levels. We also have one March 2nd through the 31st. This one's called Tracking Agile Kanban. One of the arms of the Agile system is to reduce both work in process and lead times, which requires making performance visible, establish positive feedback loops, and improving continuously. This course introduces the most common performance metrics with several graphs, charts, and visualization methods used to achieve this. Then we also have prompt engineering for masterclass marketers and content creators. Leverage AI to create quality content. This will be offered in the month of February. In this course, you will learn about the concept of prompt engineering and its significance in harnessing the capabilities of AI for content creation and how prompt engineering has transformed content creation and elevated brand messaging, and the best practices for finding and reiterating prompt engineering strategies to achieve desired outcomes. I know we're always looking for more content ways, so this should be a great one. As we wrap up today's webinar, just a few housekeeping items. The first one I wanted to is recognize the fall campaign winner. So as you recall, for every entry or referral of a new member, it was an entry into a drawing for a free registration to the NWLC conference in 2026. Sugarland, I am ahead of myself. I already put 2027. And so congratulations to Tanya Molman of the Bryan College Station Charter Chapter. She won a free registration. So congrats, Tanya. Thank you. And then everyone that received level 1 and level 2, I believe, those rewards are coming out shortly. Jill and I were working on special ordering them and having those sent out. The other chance for a giveaway, as mentioned, is that if you want a copy of Susan's book, you can do that by scanning this QR, and her and her team will be selecting 10 winners, and they will mail the book to you. So please go ahead and take a quick shot of that QR. I wanted to leave you tonight with a quote that has just really meant a lot to me. ABWA is an organization built on the spirit of service and volunteerism. We are nothing without the hard work of our league leaders and our members. This quote was provided to me personally by a teacher during my first board position. I sat on a nonprofit preschool, and we were putting in late nights, and despite all the hard work, I kept loving the school more and more and more. And one of my children's teachers sent me this quote. And she wrote it on a lovely little piece of paper and attached it to a homemade gift. And she said, "I slept and I dreamed that life is all joy. I woke and I saw that life is all service. I served and I saw that service is joy." And this is from Khalil Gibran, one of my father's favorite authors. So I hope that you guys find your joy in the service that you do to the ABWA community. So from the entire team at ABWA, thank you and good night. This concludes our webinar. As always, myself and some of our panelists, we're going to stay on and answer any questions that you might have for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Of course, if you don't have any questions, this is where we part. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And again, on behalf of the entire ABWA team, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate all that you do in service to our mission.